hope you guys have been doing really well. Yeah, so life happened and I haven't really been able to make any new videos, but yeah, we are back at it and I've been working on this artwork for quite some time. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. So, this is a still image from the movie Sarafina, one of the most critically acclaimed South African movies from our time. And yeah, I thought this was going to be a very beautiful image to make. And yeah, this was actually for a competition, but yeah, life happened. The drawing took me a little bit longer than expected, but yeah, there's nothing we can do about that, you know what I mean? So yeah, right now we are doing the sketching phases, you know, and we're using the amazing style of Louise Cruz again. But yeah, I know you guys enjoy the style, so yeah. Now, I was having a little bit of trouble with the eye, but you know, I ended up figuring that shit out. Like, yeah, at some point I ended up figuring it out. And yeah, now getting all the little things in was pretty easy. This is like the most relaxing and most, you know, calming part of the video, just doing the sketching and getting that down. And then now I started doing the blocking using the lasso tool, the straight lasso tool, to start adding in the geometric shapes and just color that stuff out. So yeah, so far the drawing was coming along very well. And yeah, I was actually having fun making this, you know. I don't know, I feel like this image was gonna be it's gonna be a lot of fun to paint this, and yeah, I'm sure nothing will go wrong in the making of this video. But yeah, using Louise Cruz as a guide, I drew this out, and yeah, the image was coming along pretty well. So after getting in all the skin down, I started playing around with some color palettes for the shading. Now, getting the shading right was a little bit of a struggle, and yeah, I'm just getting more used to using colors in a better way and to make very appealing skin tones. So yeah, I decided to change the image a little bit after adding the fist in and like moving the camera back a little bit more. Opened up the composition of the image so that I could play around with that a little bit more. But yeah, then I started doing the first layer of shading. Now, what I do is I make the selection and paint and like fill that in. So making the basic shapes really does go a long way. And yeah, so I decided to get some reference from one of the cover arts of the movie to make the background. It's a beautiful sunset that I painted in manually, and yeah, I really thought it was beautiful. So blending everything in and making it look like an authentic painting made the background look really beautiful. So this was the color palette for the movie, for the digital painting. And yeah, I'm still having a lot of fun with this. So I went back to putting in the first layer of shading. Yes, I am all over the place, I know, but this is probably between different sessions, so that's why it's a little bit disjointed. But yeah, going in, filling them out, and then after I fill out the basic shading shapes, I go back and make I use an eraser of a brush, so the shape of the brush is an eraser, and then I go back and make in the shadings. So yeah, this is a very stylized hand that I drew, and I'm really happy with it. I used Ben Albin as like my reference, and yeah, I really like how the hand looks, and I'm really proud of it, to be honest. So yeah, adding the first layer of shading, then I'm adding a slightly darker tone for the midtones of the hand, and yeah. Now I just started working on the foreground. Yes, there's some girl's forehead, so yeah, I just had to add that in, you know, shape it out properly, and yeah. As you guys can tell, I use a lot of lassoing to do my arts. And then yeah, I started working on the background characters. See, the background characters, they really don't matter. They're just there for the sake of having the background, but they will receive very little detail. I'm not going to go in and draw the faces because our focus is Sarafina in the focus of the image. So yeah, going in, drawing it, and yeah. So yeah, at this point, I did go in and start erasing the rock dot shadings, and yeah, always have your reference out and see how the artist that you're referencing does certain things, and you just try to emulate that in your own art. So yeah, now I started going in with the shading, and yeah, I like this shading. I think it looks really good. You know, I spent a bit of time doing this, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with the first layer of shading. So yeah, now I'm just going back in, erasing a few parts to make the shading shape, and yeah, going in, putting the brush back. So that's how I basically make the painted shading in my art. So I use a brush, and I use a brush shaped eraser to do this as well. And yeah, just going back in and out, just getting the shadings done, and yeah. So now I started working with the other midtones. So this is the second layer of the shading. So it's slightly darker than the first, and yeah, it adds a lot of depth to the image. But I don't know. At this point, the image did kind of look weird to me, but I just chalked it up to me not being done with all the shading and all of the layering of the image. But yeah, she looked weird. I don't know. But yeah, I was still experimenting with all of this and trying to see. So now we have the darkest tones. These are the darkest tones of the skin. So yeah, the shading, that's the part that I really liked. So now I went back and started working on the hand again. So I am adding the darker tones of the hand so that it adds depth to that. So it's all just about layering your art, and you just keep going back and forth to make it look really good. And you know, started putting in the fingernails and all that, and my reference is right there, guys. Always have your reference out. I could be using PureRef, but I don't know, I don't like that software, so I'm stubbornly using the Photoshop way of doing things, I guess. And yeah, going back in, shading, working around with it. So I really love the way I drew this hand, the way I'm rendering it out. I was really happy with this. And yeah, at this point of the process, I'm just flowing, I guess. Yeah, putting all the shading in. And then I decided to select the hand and get rid of some of the I draw out of the lines. So yeah, I just select the hand, Control Shift I, and select the outside where I delete everything that's not on the inside, right? And yeah, just drawing in the little details of the hand. I'm really happy with this. You know what? This drawing is actually coming along really well. You know, had no hiccups really. Yeah, I just have like a beautiful hand in place. I like the nail. I like the tones of the skin look really good. And yeah, just going in, rendering it out a little bit more. I am very happy with this, and yeah, one of my favorite drawings. I am on top of things, like all we can say, this is just smooth sailing. And wait, what happened to the first layer? The first shading? No. Layering, so you do the geometric shapes, use a lasso tool, fill that up, and then you go in with an eraser with the shape of the brush to go back and get rid of, to add in that painterly feeling. That's how you do that. So yeah, after adding in all the skin highlights on the lips, on the forehead, everything, putting the opacity of it pretty low, I started to work on the rim lighting. So yeah, the image has a sunlight rim lighting. So yeah, I went in and did that. It was, I don't know, this was the more relaxing part of the process. And yeah, I am going just to let the video play, and you guys can just watch me as I make the necessary changes. That yeah, because I'm still pretty angry about like deleting my first layer of the shading, and I am going to think about my life for a second now. Just enjoy watching me add the sun rim light and start doing the lighting. Hey, I am back and I have calmed down. Yeah, but yeah, now we go back to adding a little bit of ambient light from the sunlight. So I just use the soft brush to draw in the red tint that's glowing from the harsh rim light, right? I think it adds a little bit more warmth to the image. And yeah, going back into the foreground, adding some detail back both to the forehead and the hair, just gives the image a little bit more life, you know. She doesn't look like just a regular prop now. And yeah, so yeah, at this point of the image, I'm just adding the nice little things in the image, shading out the hair, drawing a few locks in, and yeah. Now we start working on rendering out the shirt, and because it was just a flat white color. So now I'm just painting in all the shading, but mind you, I started going back and started using an orangey type blue to show that the light is still affecting the color of the shirt. And yeah, going into the jersey, adding some details, because yes, it was a solid black color, but yeah, adding in a few details does go a very long way in the rendering of the image. But yeah, as I was doing that, it did take a while, and I'm cutting out a lot. By the way, this process probably took like 10 hours, maybe less, but yeah, I'm cutting out a lot. So now we're just adding, now I'm just adding some rim light to the background characters, just a tiny little rim light, you know, so that they don't look excluded from the lighting. I think that's very important. Going in and adding some shading, or using one of the darker rim colors as well. So yeah, now I'm just making some ambient shading to make sure that all the tones look like they're being affected by the light. And yeah, this is the final image, and I am very happy with it. It was an interesting thing to try and push my artistic abilities, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions, ask them down below. And yeah, I am going to finally rest so well knowing that I finally finished this drawing. Funny enough, I finished it today. Okay, not today, but this is past me recording this on Thursday. So I finished doing this yesterday. When you're listening to this on Friday, yeah, I just confused myself. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the video, and yeah, I will see you in the next video. And remember, do good and be kind.
Life like this sure is sweet, huh?
It definitely is.